Hey everyone, it's Qcknd. I'm feeling like a little under the weather today, so I'm just gonna be filming right from my bed, if that's cool with everybody. It's right by the window and there is like traffic right now, but I'll just yell if someone starts beeping. A lot of people want to know about the Bronco. I have good news. So, Ryder has accepted fault for the damages that happened to our Bronco. I don't know much more about it. I'm hoping to get John on camera to kind of talk about it a little bit more. And John has like really put himself out there and really like done everything he can for everything. So I think that he's doing great and I'd love to like hear him talk about it. So, but yeah, Ryder is accepting fault. I don't know what's gonna happen next. Basically getting them to admit it was their vehicle has been like the hardest part. Alright, this lady's taking up 2 lanes. Anyway, so Ava Soick asks, how do you feel about the stereotyping of tattoo people? So as far as like the stereotype that you know, tattoo people are bad, tattoo people, people get tattoos in jail, things like that. Like, I'm kind of used to and like over that stereotype that, you know, tattoo people are bad people. But there are still like some stereotypes that exist that like bother me and affect me. I think that there is this whole stereotype around like men with tattoos are strong, that men with tattoos are brave, and they're courageous, and their tattoos show that they're brute, and that things like that. And I think that those stereotypes of men with tattoos do not translate to women with tattoos. I feel like as a woman with tattoos, I experience like a lot of people assuming that like I get tattoos because I want to show off my body. I get tattoos because I want people to come up to me and approach me and touch me, and that I have tattoos because I'm like sexy or like it's a sexual thing. And it's never because maybe I'm badass or maybe I am strong and stuff like that. It's really one-sided, I feel, in my experience. And that's kind of a stereotype that I experience as a tattooed woman, that like I'm kinky and that I got tattoos because like I want to like be a tattooed model and I want to show off and like stuff like that. And I think I experience a lot of that like outside, like people coming up to me and being like, hey baby, like you got tattoos? And I'm like, just trying to go to the store, just going to the store, going to the deli. Has nothing to do with you. I didn't know you were going to be standing there. So, that's kind of a stereotype that I experience, just that, like, I'm willing to talk to men because of my tattoos, and I'm, like, interested in strangers and people touching me and things like that, and I'm inviting to it, and it's just absolutely not true. And that's something I really experience. Does Google censor my content, and am I sponsored? So I have like no issue with whatever content I post on YouTube. YouTube does not really censor anything, and that can be good and bad because I know that I am free to post whatever I want as long as I follow like some really thin guidelines, which are like, don't use copyrighted music on your video or else it'll get muted or deleted. But then again, like, it goes both ways. Like, I can have the freedom to post whatever I want, but users can also have the freedom to comment whatever they want. So it goes back and forth, and I've never had any issue about it. There was, like, a little bit of a hiccup on my, sexual harassment video, and I wasn't even aware of it until it was solved by YouTube, and I was a little upset just because I didn't want to upset anybody, and I tried to put like a warning on that video because I want everyone to come to my channel and feel safe and feel represented and know that I would never say anything harmful for them or anything that may trigger a bad experience. And I think that it may have just been like user error, or maybe the algorithm of YouTube maybe detected some language in that video and they had to review it, but I wasn't even aware, and they messaged me to tell me that everything was cool anyway, so I was blissfully unaware, and then everything was fine anyway. So that was the only issue I've ever had, and I didn't even know about it. Do I have any sponsorships? And the answer is no. I am not represented by any YouTube network. I get network opportunities emailed to me like daily, and you may have like heard me talk about like, oh, I have an interview with a network, or oh, I'm on the phone with a network, and there have been a couple networks that I've had phone interviews with, and like email correspondence, and FaceTime, whatever, Google something, Google Workroom, I don't know. And I haven't really found a network that really fits with me. I know that Style Hall invited me to a party that they're having in New York City, and Style Hall's like talked to me on the phone and things like that, but as of right now, I am independent. I represent myself. I don't have a network that represents me. I create and edit and film and everything, all my own content, from beginning to end, and I get most of my inspiration from you guys who request different videos that you want to see or things that I think will help you. But yeah, you can kind of tell that my editing skills are like whatever, and it's basically just me and my camera and sometimes John. And I laugh that John represents me and he is my manager. But no, I'm not represented by any networks. And there was one time that this company reached out to me. I get a lot of companies reaching out to me, and normally like right away I can tell that they're like weird. If like an email doesn't use my name and they use like a generic just phrase like darling, usually that's like a red flag. I get a lot of like sponsorship, like people wanting to send me free stuff from like more of like a global kind of website. Like I get a lot of emails like in the middle of the night, so I assume that they're from overseas, just from people who have websites and they want to get their products out there. But these emails are like kind of weirdly written, weirdly phrased, and when I check out the products, they seem like really weird and cheap. Last night I got a website for sunglasses, a website that sells like wholesale, and then a website that's like clothing, and like the clothing is like a penny. And I don't really vibe with things like that. I don't want to show anybody like items like that I wouldn't wear myself, that I wouldn't represent myself with. There was one time where I did accept that they send something to me, and it was like a monthly subscription sort of thing, and I have Ipsy, so I was like, yeah, I'll try this out too. So they sent that to me, and when I received it, I was really unhappy with the product, and I messaged them, and I was like, hey, like, this video you want me to make, like, how honest am I allowed to be? And they said just say positive things, and they sent me a script that they wanted me to read, and I felt just like really uncomfortable about all of that. And when I looked up their products to see other YouTubers, the YouTubers were reading the script, and I was just like, I can't, like, I trust and I love my subscribers, and I want them to feel the same way. And I messaged them and I was like, I would love to do an honest review of your products, and maybe like my honest critique could help you in the future and help other people in the future. And they said no, and I asked if I could send the products back, and they said no, keep them, but do not make the review. And I felt bad, but at the same time, like, their product was close to like $30, and I felt really bad, like, for consumers who trust me to spread that message, because I just would never want that for anybody. So no, I do not have any sponsorships. I'm not sponsored by any brands. And the one brand that did try to send me something, I just really did not vibe with. And in my heart, I wanted to send the products back. Maybe they could send them to somebody who is not like me, who may enjoy those products. But I think that I kind of I don't fit the stereotype of a lot of YouTubers. And I think that companies like want to reach out to me in a like standard way, but I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not in YouTube for free shit, and I'm not into YouTube for a paycheck, and like I don't know. I'm grateful for the brands who have approached me, but the one brand who I like nicely turned down, I said no thank you. They were like, but you are a style ambassador and you can't let your followers down. They want to see your fashion expertise. And I was like, who? I'm wearing a tank top. But things like that, they're just like kind of cheesy. And I kind of I warn other people, like kind of watch out. Because in their email, they're like, what's your address right away? Dear, darling, female. I don't have any sponsorships. I don't have any endorsements. Everything I say is honest and 100% my opinion or my experience, and just something I share because I think that that's good. Because it's good. So I was asked, what was it like to live in Texas? Why did I leave? Why did I go there? And when I was 18, I moved out of my parents' house for like private reasons and moved to Texas just because the living, it's a lot cheaper to live there than in Pennsylvania. The cost of living is like a 30% difference between Pennsylvania and Texas. And with really limited funds and knowledge on how to be an independent person, it seemed like a good choice. And for the most part it was. When I lived there, I had my first car, I had a really good job, I was going to school full time, and I mean, it was pretty cool. I have this like archive of like old vlogs from when I was in Texas, and they're weird. I watched them the other day. I like had my first webcam when I went down there, and I had gotten a laptop for my like 18th birthday, so it just worked out. Lots of videos of me just talking to myself. But when I moved to Texas, you know, I had my bike shipped, I had all this stuff, and when I got there, I lived in Houston, and it just like wasn't just like a lifestyle I was used to. And there was no sidewalks, there was no place for me to ride my bike, there wasn't a place for me to walk around. I had a really hard time meeting people, I had a really hard time making friends. I had like a couple friends from a symphonic band, but I also felt bad. I felt like they were like taking care of me, and I was like helpless, like, oh, I'm in Texas, I don't know what to do. There's no parks. And I was starting to like have a lot of like nightmares and like anxiety and weird dreams, and like every day I was like calling my best friend, calling my best friend's sister, calling my grandmom, calling everybody so I could just talk on the phone with somebody and reach out to a life that I once knew and loved. And although like things were happening for me in Texas that a standard adult would like really enjoy and benefit from, my heart just like ached for my grandmom and ached for my friends and seeing lakes and trees and the cold air and the warm air and everything. And I think about Texas and I think that it's great, and I think if you were like born and raised there, you are used to it and you have your friends and stuff like that. But in Houston, I think a lot of things and a lot of friendships were based off of like around the school and like after school activities and extracurriculars and things like that. And I didn't have my foot in the door. I didn't really know. I mean, I was in band and those were the friends that I made, but I spent a lot of time on campus, like a lot of time just like on the computer, a lot of time on my Zanga. I think I watched like every single episode of iCarly, and I was just like sad for my life. So I had enough money to like ship my car back and like move in with my friend's sister and like start a brand new life that way. So I think Texas like gave me the life tools to like come back and like know what I want, because before I left I was just like, I don't know, I graduated, so I think like Texas kind of like shocked me into being an adult and being like, all right, if you go back to Pennsylvania, you better keep this good vibe going. And so I think that really helped, and I don't regret going and moving there and stuff, but I just had a really hard time living there, and all that stuff. No beef with Texas. It just like, it wasn't my life. So Renee Calahas asked me about if I know anything about the semicolon tattoo project, and I had to actually look it up because I didn't know anything about it. And from my limited understanding, because I had like, it wasn't super easy to like just Google this and a lot of information came up. I had to like kind of look into it. And what the semicolon project is it's like a tattoo you get in order to show your awareness for like mental health and like mental disorders. And you get the tattoo of the semicolon because it's supposed to continue the conversation about, you know, like mental disorders and stuff like that. And for me, like, my tattoos like aren't a conversation piece. So already, like, I think it's cool that people are getting these tattoos, so at like parties and stuff they could be like, did you see my tattoo? This is what it's about. Because it is hard to like have a conversation about like anxiety and depression and things that you may suffer from like silently at home. And I think the semicolon project, like, you can get the tattoo and people can see it, and you can, it like breaks the ice to have that conversation with people. But in my world, like I said earlier in this video, my tattoos aren't like a conversation piece, and I don't go to parties, and I don't feel comfortable talking about my mental health. And although I shared a lot of personal stuff in my birth control video about like mental instabilities that I face and things I suffer from, I am a person who like keeps that really private in my heart and like suffers independently, because I just come from a background where that's not what you talk about. And if you're sad, or if you're crying, or you can't eat, or you can't stop eating, or can't get out of bed, you just have to like, if your mom knocks on the door, you just be like, oh, I got the flu. And I think that having a conversation about that stuff is great, and I think it needs to happen. And I think that I hear a lot of conversations like, oh, you have depression? Like, cheer up. And I'm like, what? People really don't know? So it's good that there's people out there having that conversation with people, having the semicolon. Personally, my tattoos, like, have, like, they're private, and they're not conversation pieces, and they're not party starters, and they could never represent, like pain or something like that, because I have to be able to see them. And like I said before, I have to be able to see them, and they have to be able to like make me happy and cheer me up, because it's like art in my house. And yes, sometimes art is sad and it's painful and it hurts you, but I think I'm always going to struggle with like mental instability. And I think if I got a tattoo about it, it might just like be a catalyst to something stronger that I can't stop. or it might give somebody some sort of ammunition to talk about things like that I'm not comfortable with. And I can't picture myself at, like, if I actually got out of the house to go to a party, like, that's an accomplishment. If I got to the party and someone was like, hey, do you have fucking depression? Oh my God, I gotta go. I got here and now I already have to go. So, I think the people who are getting these semicolons to show their awareness, I don't have any beef with it, but I don't think I could ever wear one myself as a person who is fragile as it is. But, so that's 5. Thanks again to everybody who always participates in 5 Fact Friday. Don't believe the hype. People are telling me, hey, 5 Fact Friday is gonna burn out one day. And I'm like, probably not. I don't know. I've got things to talk about. And I'm here to interact with you. I think 5 Fact Friday gives me that window to talk to you guys, and you guys can talk to me, and all that stuff. Everybody who's messaged me this week, thank you so much, and you're all the bomb. And thanks to everybody who tuned in to my public record 3-part series. I think that it's been really cool and successful, and I'm figuring out how to use Adobe Premiere, and I'm so excited. Thanks for sitting with me in my bed with my mountain, and until next week. And there's a bonus video tomorrow for everybody in life if you're around on Saturday. I love you guys so much, and until next week's 5 Fact Friday, bye. Okay. Oh, it's Friday. All right. Okay. Okay. I love you. I'll see you. Bye. I guess I'm seeing that new NWA movie.